Alright, I hate making these types of videos, and I was planning on taking the day off, and by taking the day off I mean like doing actual legal work other than making these vlogs. But for those of you who've been following me in the community tab on my channel, you know something was going on with one of my videos that was removed from YouTube, so here's the overall context. I think it's about a month or two ago, I did a video where I broke down and analyzed the entire Alex Jones deposition from a purely legal perspective, talking about what happens in a deposition, what types of questions the examining attorney was asking, why they were problematic, etc., etc. I read a lot of the comments in that video, and a lot of people were accusing me of bias for picking on the plaintiff's attorneys. Other people had questions as to what defamation is, freedom of speech issues, etc. I did a follow-up video on the original analysis where I answered some of the questions that were being asked in the comment section. Where did I shoot the video? Why was I picking on one attorney and not the other? And I went into a little more detail about the deposition process. How, when there's an examination, one party examines and it's sort of like they're carrying the ball at that point in the legal battle. And so it only makes sense that you deal with their conduct more than the witness's attorney, who typically sits there silent and doesn't do much during an examination. We talked about defamation, we talked about the litigation process, we talked about where I shot the video, which was on my rooftop here. Oh, incidentally, I mean, I know a lot of you already know who I am, and I shouldn't have to remind you that I'm a Montreal litigator turned YouTuber, and I shouldn't remind you that I do these things called vlogs, VLAWGS, where we break down and analyze things that are going on in the legal world in terms of being understood by lawyers and non-lawyers alike. I shouldn't do that because that might irritate you, so I won't. Okay. So regardless, so I do the second part 2 follow-up to the original breakdown of the Alex Jones deposition. And when I say that there is nothing remotely offensive, negative, wrong, potentially contrary to the community guidelines in that video, I'm not just saying that because it's my video, I'm saying that because it's objectively true. First of all, there's nothing on my channel that can be construed as violating YouTube's community guidelines. I go out of my way deliberately to be respectful, to not be incendiary in my analyses. I don't even really give my opinion all that often because my goal is not to tell people what I think and, you know, what they should think, but rather, here's the information, now you go figure out what you think on your own. There was nothing remotely controversial in that video, but in the part 2. But shortly after I got published, I got a notification to the effect that it was flagged for having inappropriate comment and that certain features were going to be disabled or limited. And for those of you who don't know what happens at that point, I don't know exactly what features are limited. All that I know is that you can't find the video when you search for it, and you can't share it. So as far as it goes on YouTube, it's basically down the memory hole. Nobody can get to it. It's a ghost. It's a ghost video. It's as though you have to directly share the link that you already have in order to get other people to be aware of that video. Otherwise, it's dead to the YouTube world. I appealed the decision, and on manual review, the initial decision was confirmed, meaning that the limitations were going to remain in place. Anybody who came across that video got notified that it contained inappropriate content, and they had to accept to watch the video. This is a purely respectful legal breakdown explaining the deposition process, defamation law, in which I incidentally predicted that as far as my legal prediction goes, Jones is going to be ordered to pay damages for the things he said. It's not even as though it was supportive to one side or the other. It was, as far as I'm concerned, a legal, objective legal analysis with a legal prediction which may or may not come to fruition. So that happens. The video is manually limited in terms of features, and the original decision is confirmed. Okay, I go on with life. 2 weeks later, I get a notification on the same video saying it has been flagged, and upon review, the video is going to be removed for breaking the community guidelines. It says I can appeal the decision, but I don't see any easy way to appeal the decision, but I'll get back to that incidentally because I figured it out today. Removed from YouTube, just like that, for no reason that I can possibly tell. And the issue is, again, it's not the substance of the decision. This is dealing with a video that had already been manually reviewed in the past and had already been sanctioned, call it if you will, had already received its punishment in terms of being confirmed limited features because it contained inappropriate content, being reevaluated either de novo or just reevaluated and being handed down an even stiffer penalty than the first time it was manually reviewed. I mean, if you think about that in a legal perspective, it's almost like saying, yeah, we've reviewed it and we've issued your penalty. Now, you know what? We've re-reviewed it and we've decided to increase the initial penalty that we deemed was appropriate upon our first review. And this is the issue, is that it creates an insecurity, a fear in content creators that I don't know if the terms of service changed, and I suspect they did in light of what's going on and in light of what other content creators have been talking about, complaining about, noticing has been going on with their channels, videos being blocked, channels being taken down. And you know, I sit there watching all of this and I say it's never going to happen to me because my content is so non-controversial, and it's just pure law-based to educate and inform people so they can come to their own decisions. It's not opinionated. I'm not swearing. I'm not inciting any form of negativity. I say it's not going to happen to me because I know that I go out of my way to make sure that I am respecting the guidelines. And even if I'm not respecting the guidelines, I'm respecting my own internal principles, which is to be respectful in everything that I put out on YouTube. And it happens to me. And it creates this insecurity where I don't know what I did wrong to know what to avoid in the future. I don't know if YouTube is going to go back on other videos and now find that other videos were inappropriate. And in their notification to me, it says, don't worry, you didn't get a copy strike or you didn't get a strike against your channel. You're still in good standing. And thank goodness for small blessings, but it's sort of like when you get pulled over by the police for no good reason and then you sort of feel relieved that you didn't get a ticket when you shouldn't have been pulled over in the first place. You feel relief and you almost feel thankful that they didn't punish you for not having done something wrong in the first place. And it makes you insecure about what to do on a going forward basis. So I didn't know what to do. I got in touch with the chat and they said, well, do you have the URL for the video? And I said, of course I don't have the URL anymore and I can't get it because the video is removed. Incidentally, I was able to find the URL because I had tweeted the video out about a month ago and I found the tweet, found the URL, and found that that's the means through which, or the mode through which I can file the appeal, which is when you have the original URL of the video, there's a button that says request a manual appeal of the decision to remove the video, which I clicked on and explained why I didn't think it should be. My dog is panting like a maniac. Barney, come here. And explained why I didn't think. Come here, get over here. Get over here. No, stay in the shade. I explained why I didn't think the video should have been removed in the first place. I said there's nothing remotely offensive, controversial, contrary to the community guidelines. This was a legal analysis of a lawsuit that is currently pending. It was an explanation as to the legal process. It was an explanation as to what constitutes defamation and how it's applied and the different criteria, whether you're press or whether you're not press, whether someone's a public figure or not. So I lodged the appeal and I'm going to get a decision in theory within 24 to 48 hours. And I was thinking I would wait to put this video out. But on the one hand, you know, it doesn't matter what the outcome is, because if the appeal is maintained and they put the video back on YouTube, it doesn't quell the insecurities that this creates in me as a creator. And if the appeal is maintained, well, I still disagree with the decision I disagreed with from the beginning. I disagreed with the limited features on the video because I don't think there's anything remotely inappropriate in terms of the content of that video. But it's this procedure that doesn't seem to have any rhyme or reason, and that if people want to think conspiratorial thoughts, they can ask why it happens with certain videos, why it happens to certain channels. And it creates this fear in the creators that doesn't, foment confidence in the platform. It makes me question and it makes me fear as to what the platform is doing. And I say this from, you know, a love for the platform, but also a selfish reason, because I've put in years of time, sweat, tears into my YouTube channel to build it up to what it is, and to see that it can be messed with on such an arbitrary basis with so little checks and balances to make sure that I understand what's going on and that what's going on is justified under the circumstances. It makes me worried for the existence and the brand and the platform that I've created on YouTube. And so it's disconcerting in that respect. But above all, it's just disconcerting in terms of knowing what the rules are, how they apply, so that we can abide by them. If certain issues are just black on white, off limits, do not touch them or your videos will get demonetized or removed, let us know. Let us know what those subjects are so that we can make the decisions in turn in an enlightened manner as to what topics we want to deal with, knowing what we might be stepping in. But, you know, of the recent videos that I've made that have gotten demonetized, other than the content never being anything offensive or controversial, they're dealing with Alex Jones, Nicholas Sandman, and Julian Assange. And I am not putting out opinion pieces and I'm not putting out inflammatory content. It is purely legal analyses to help people understand what is going on so that they can digest, read the news on their own. But if there are subjects that are just off limits, let us know up front so we can act accordingly, take our chances. But what YouTube has to appreciate is that when you take a video down and people can't access it anymore, it reflects poorly on the content creator. When someone sees that a video of mine has been removed because the content was inappropriate, it casts dispersions on me. It creates doubt in the minds of others who can no longer even see what that video is about as to what the content of that video might have been. And they can question, what content did Viva Frei put out there that was so inappropriate that YouTube had to remove it from the platform? And these are reputational issues that are hard to undo. There's the expression in law that it takes decades to build a reputation and minutes to ruin one. And that usually results from the lawyer's own conduct, not from third parties doing things that can cause people to question the integrity of the lawyer, or in this case, the content creator. So that is my rant. I don't like making these videos because I don't like complaining, and I'm not complaining. I just want to either succeed or fail on my own merits. I want to know what the rules are so that I can know how to respect them, and I want to know what's off limits so that I know where not to go in order to avoid problems. But there's problems in substance, there's problems in form, and then there's problems in expression. I don't think I violated any of these things because I go out of my way to make sure that I don't. To not give anyone a reason to give any one of my videos a strike or to remove them. But beyond that, I'm not in the industry of upsetting people or saying things that I know are going to upset people. I'm just trying to be value added to the world out there in terms of imparting my legal experience and knowledge in a way that can allow people to understand what's going on in the world. So that's that. I had better get back to actual, not actual real work, but real legal work, because I do vlogs, but I also do law, and I'd better get back to that. So if you like my videos in any event, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I exist on other platforms, but I don't want to direct people to those platforms because I don't want to direct people away from YouTube. I like YouTube. I love YouTube. I want YouTube to conduct itself in a way that doesn't cause people to flee. I want YouTube to apply rules in a way that doesn't scare people or cause people to question the viability and the future of the platform. I guess that's the purpose of this video. That's it. Now you know your vlog? There was no vlog to this. Peace out.